When you own a caravan, the one thing you will want to do is to keep the exterior looking smart and well protected too. But you might say, I could do that, that's simple. After all, it's got a tow car. But the way a tow car is built and the materials from which it's built are very, very different from the materials used in caravan construction. That caused a lot of problems to a cleaning company that was specialising in car cleaners that wanted to introduce an all-purpose caravan cleaner. And they contacted me for advice, and I said, well look, you're dealing with a completely different set of materials. I mean, for example, you produce a well-known cleaning product that's for car windows. And it's ever so good for car windows, but they're made of safety glass. On a caravan, of course, the windows are made in acrylic plastic. And it doesn't work on acrylic plastic so well. And they set the chemists in motion, and they then came up with this glass cleaner that actually does both and is especially good on this type of window. But it's more than windows, it's also the body itself, and this crops up when you start cleaning. Look, for example, at the typical kind of aluminium that is used in caravan construction. Isn't that flimsy? Amazing, and it comes pre-painted, and the paint is far, far less thick than it is on a tow car. So much so that if you had a mark on there and you went to a well-known cutting agent, what might work on a car metal and paintwork to get those nasty deep marks out, you put that on that sort of surface and you start rubbing hard, you'll get all the way through the paint and you'll get down to the bare metal below. So it isn't really that simple. And even things like polishes, although they do have a certain degree of crossover, there are specific areas where you get, again, more difficulties. For instance, a lot of caravans are not clad in aluminium or smooth aluminium. They're clad in a kind of textured surface. And that was very popular a few years ago. And I've been on 4 training courses now on car and caravan valeting. And they nearly all say, don't use a polish on that part of the caravan. Keep the polish for the smooth areas. And it's exactly the same if you have fiberglass panels. Now this is a large one, and very often the panel is moulded into shapes. But this particular one has a texture as well. And it looks rather nice, but you wouldn't put polish on that. And so we then have clear differences, and although by getting the chemists working, many firms are now using and producing a multi-purpose cleaner, it still has limitations what it can offer. But I didn't want to just talk about caravan cleaning, I wanted to go beyond that. For example, another issue when it's care of the outside is the little awning rail. That's a wonderful place for any spider in the winter to set up home and to weave one of those little woolly balls. Well, did you know that in your caravan dealers you can buy a special cranked brush like that that is designed to go through the slot of the awning rail and shift those spiders and set them on the road looking for another home? There's also something else on the side of caravans, and you'll see it here, and this is it. It's one of the fridge vents. Now, would you believe I saw recently on a caravan forecourt the cleaner man with a hose pointing straight at this? Didn't he realise that this is a chimney, a flue for the gas burner? Didn't he realise that some fridges are not completely sealed off as they should be from the kitchen, and a hose will send water right through into the internal part of the van? And there are windows which are also different, and they are expensive if they have to be replaced. I've got a caravan window here, and I've also got a little badge. Are you one of those people who likes to stick badges on windows? Or you really shouldn't, not on the acrylic, because once you tear off the backing paper and once you stick it on, there are several people who believe that the stickiness reacts with the plastic and actually starts to cause it to degrade into lots and lots of tiny cracks. While I'm looking at the window, do you appreciate that all different types, whether it's this or others, have a rubber seal that goes around. And that loses its effect and the rain will get in. And that's why this vinyl and rubber care product is out and about, and you can spray it onto here, and with a small sponge like this, you can wipe it around, and it's something you need to do on your van occasionally. Finally, let's go round to the back to finish appropriately. I know it's a trailer board, it's not actually a caravan itself, but the lights are similar. I've owned a number of saloon cars that have cost me a lot of money. And when I've looked at the light assemblies, I've seen the condensation forming inside and it's made me angry. But it happens, and it happens on caravans too. And if there's too much water getting into these bits here, or too much condensation, that accumulates, runs down the cable, and gets into the very fabric of the back of the caravan. So quite a number of very dissimilar tips, but if you pay heed to those, your caravan exterior is going to last a lot longer.